congratulations to Kory. I mean, the man's been grinding. All right, he's covering the Detroit Pistons formerly. All right, he's covering the Detroit Lions. He's doing his thing. He's crushing it. And now it's like he's like bouncing back and forth. I mean, he's doing both. He's doing one. He's doing the other. The man just does not stop.
And they're both winning right now.
We could hear from him.
I know, right when they start winning, they take Kory away. It's kind of fucked up, if I'm being honest. It's kind of messed up. They take Kory away as soon as they win 3 or 4. But let's welcome in Kory Woods.
Let's go.
Covers the Detroit Lions and Detroit Pistons for M Live. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Kory Woods. Kory?
Yo, what's the deal? What's the deal?
They just had to take you away when they went 3 or 4, Kory. I mean, that's messed up.
And they took me out right there. I'm like, wow, right after a Lakers win. That's how y'all do me. Okay.
Well, Kory, this happened early. Brad Holmes was not playing any games. We talked about like the initial reports of, Brad talking to the Browns, and they wanted a 4th round pick initially. And you saw what kind of Brad got for Za'Darius, and we'll talk more about the other things regarding the Lions, but just to get your thoughts on the trade and what Brad paid for Za'Darius Smith.
I mean, not to sound like, your question is dumb, because you're not dumb, but I mean, like, really, what did they give up for him? I mean, they gave up, what they gave up was very minimal in the grand scheme of things when you're trying to capitalize on a Super Bowl window, something that has rarely, if ever, been said in the same sentence when you're talking about the Detroit Lions. So Aiden Hutchinson went down. Not just Aiden Hutchinson went down, you also lost Marcus Davenport. You guys, the Lions, needed to get some pressure on that line. And I mean, they got a guy that is a 3-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro. He's had 3 double-digit sack seasons in 3 of the past 6 seasons. And let's be clear, those double-digit sack seasons were when he was playing in the NFC North with the Packers and with the Vikings. That was not alongside This is a guy that was dying to get back in the North and get some revenge on those guys. He was open about a couple of weeks ago about wanting to come here. So you don't get Myles Garrett, you don't get Max Crosby, because the draft capital to get those guys would have been too much. But to get a guy that is basically better than what you already have, no disrespect, is better than what you already have at that position that's active, it's a steal. It's a smart move. It's a steal. I don't know how anybody could be mad about it.
Yeah, Kory, how do you feel too just going forward with the defensive line? I was kind of, you might have heard before, but I was mentioning just before with, now you have, Za'Darius Smith. You have Levi O that's probably going to play at the other edge at points, and Josh Pascal in the interior. How do you feel about the defensive line going forward? I know, obviously, and I see people still arguing in our chat and online about it. Like, you were never going to probably get back to the defensive line with Aiden Hutchinson as the level he was playing, but do you feel like they can get back to that defensive line and pass rush can get to the level when you do play, teams like Baltimore or in the Super Bowl, or the Bills in the Super Bowl, or the Chiefs? Like, do you think they can handle those teams with adding Za'Darius Smith?
Absolutely, because, I mean, you get a guy that has a nose for getting to the quarterback, and then now when you have a guy like Smith that you have to pay that respect to, whether he gets there or not, you still have to the pressure, the attention that he's going to command, it's going to free up some of those other guys to go ahead and get to the quarterback. They did not have a guy that could create the pressure with Hutchinson and with Davenport going out. So I think this is going to be great for their defensive line. And also, too, I mean, I know people are saying that, they could have done better. I mean, just let's be real. Could they? I mean, we've already heard that Brad Holmes was working the phone lines immediately when Aiden Hutchinson went down. And I think what people have to realize is that just because the Lions needed to add somebody doesn't mean they could add who they want. It takes 2 to tango. And you see how much hardball the Browns are trying to play with, letting go of Smith. So I think the people that do not like this trade, I think they need to relax and be a little bit more realistic about what was out there. I mean, this is not Madden. What did you want them to do? Trade 3 first-round picks for Max Crosby or that crazy trade we saw on ESPN with the several first-round picks in Jahmyr Gibbs for Myles Garrett? I mean, I don't know what people were expecting. I think this is going to be really good for their defense moving forward.
Love it.
And Kory, when you look at Za'Darius and you look at his skill set, what do you think when he probably we'll see him out there on Sunday night against Houston, but that's not where you're truly going to see his impact when you talk about long term. Where do you think Za'Darius is going to make his impact felt the most, specifically in the pass game or the run game?
I think he's going to make his. I think the Lions' run defenses are, regardless of who they had out there, I think their run defense is still very respectable. I think he's going to make a huge difference in that pass game because with Aiden Hutchinson gone, they were not able to generate any pressure at all. When you have Mason Rudolph running up the field, my God, and then you have Jordan Love, who is basically on. He says he wasn't injured, but the guy looked very hampered with that groin injury still, and they were still unable to get pressure on the QB. So he's definitely going to come in and rectify that because it's been bad ever since the Hutch went out the lineup.
Kory, I want to ask you just about the the people mentioning I had a stream earlier, just kind of talking to the people, and a big consensus was people expected 2 moves today. My big thing is I think he's done. I think it was just Za'Darius Smith. Another player I would have liked would be like an Arden Key, for example. But where are you at with that? Like that conversation, maybe adding another player. You're disappointed, you're not shocked. Where are you at with that? I'm only making 1 trade.
Well, here's the thing about that. They had to make at least 1 trade, and they got the best guy that was available out there. So, the Lions won the trade for the best available edge rusher without mortgaging their future. So, for one, they got that part right. I believe if they were able to get another trade, that would have been very key. I have not personally heard anything about them trying to make an attempt to get 2 trades, but I believe when they were able to hold on to that 4th rounder and be able to give up the 5th and the 6th, at that point, I thought that put them in position to maybe go ahead and make another impactful move for who I don't know who that would have been. But I think they're holding on to that 4th man. Like, hey, maybe they're trying to go ahead and make another move. Maybe they could. We'll find out, later on because Brad Holmes is usually very transparent about these type of things. If you ask him if he tried to make something else happen, but again, if they made 2, that would have been great. But the one that they made was for the best edge rusher available in the trade market.
Yeah, that's fair.
I do have a question. Kory, when it comes to like the AG stuff, because I think AG like the last couple days, or not days, weeks, and even months, you could even say to end last year, he was an elite DC when it comes to finding these schemes to stop, especially with what he's been given. And then when Hutch goes down and you lose Brian Branch in this Packers game, like, can I get just a confidence level of you? Because I know, like with Za'Darius, again, it's like back to the last question I had. He does add a lot to your defense, but obviously you don't get back up to that level. Do you like full trust in AG? Because I personally do, and I know there are still fans out there, Lions fans out there, who are still like, can he do it for the whole year with what they have with the pass rush? The rush defense has struggled a little bit. Do you have faith in AG that he's going to be able to figure this thing out going forward? I guess not figure it out because he already has figured it out, but consistently like maintain it. I apologize for that.
No problem. We'll see. I will say that if you have to go off the body of work right now, the Lions were still manufacturing turnovers in lieu of being able to generate pressure. So now you add that on there, it can only be a plus. Right? And they're also still going to be going out and scouting these practice squads to be able to probably add more talent. So, I think I think AG's in a good spot. You have to really commend him for the coaching job that he's done. To lose what Aiden Hutchinson was on a defensive player of the year tangent, run, whatever you want to call it. He was having that type of season. And to lose him like they did and to be able to still adjust on the fly week after week and find ways to be able to get stops and key stops when needed and be able to generate turnovers, you have to commend AG for that job. And you also have to commend the Lions for now knowing that AG was just trying to figure out everything on the fly and got him some help on that line.
It kind of ties in with the AG. He's obviously got to build the scheme. Is there a certain player, Kory, you think outside of this defensive line that's going to really benefit from having Za'Darius Smith added into this defensive front?
I think the secondary is going to definitely benefit from it. I mean, the Lions like to try to play man coverage, so I think being able to have a guy like that can go ahead and generate pressure is definitely going to help at that secondary. Definitely going to help a guy out like Terrion Arnold, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Kory, it's exciting. I mean, I've been asking for a move. It was made. I know Lions fans are excited. Although he's not Aiden Hutchinson, he could still certainly help. So, you know what? Let's keep this thing pushing. Let's get the number 1 seed so this man can get a freaking vibe. Because here's
the great thing about the deal too is like you can the 2025 is not guaranteed. So if it does not work out after this, you can get out from this deal after the season. Then if you decide to keep him around next year, he has a $5.5 million cap hit. I mean, it's I don't know what Lions fans are wanting. I mean, obviously Max Crosby or Myles Garrett would have been the home run. That would have been like the perfect situation, but you still got a quality guy that fits what they're trying to build in Allen Park. And then on top of it, there's a video that surfaced after Sunday's game, Browns game, where pretty much I'm assuming his teammates knew he was out the door. They all spoke glowingly of him. You have a guy that's a consummate teammate in this Lions locker room coming here, wanting to be here. I mean, I don't know. Make it make sense if you're mad at it.
I had people telling us that they're no deal will be made. Brad Holmes, he's not going to listen to the national narratives. He's just going to a fucking deal is going to be made. All right.
It's not even about listening to the national narrative. It's really just about Brad Holmes has built a Lions team that none of us have pretty much seen in our lifetimes. And this guy, I don't know why people thought that he would sleep at the wheel. Can you say yes, last year was maybe a misstep by not going and trying to get a guy like Montez Sweat or Chase Young? Yeah, you can say it, but that also shows that, hey, we had confidence in our guys and that they were going to be able to go ahead and compete and live up to the standard. And to, whether by hook or crook, they still made the NFC Championship. This time around, it was very obvious, even in their wins, that they needed to add to that defensive line, add somebody on that edge rusher. And what did he do? What did Adam Schefter immediately after Hutch went down? He was working the foul lines, but people thought he was asleep because he's not leaking stuff to the media like some teams do. That just means the Lions run a tight ship.
Yeah,
I love that. That's how it should be.
Yeah, well, Kory, keep up the great work. Hey, I mean, and shout out Kyle Meineke. I know he's kind of hanging it up.
He's some huge shoes. Talk about huge shoes to fill. I don't even think I can fill those. I'm just going to try to do my own thing.
That's all you can do, Kory. You got our support, my man. You keep up the great work.
Sure.
Hopefully the Pistons win some more games here. I know you won't be there, but you know what? You're doing a hell of a job.
I'll be back after the season. The Lions season is over. So hopefully for you guys and everybody in Michigan, that means I'll be back well after February.
Yeah, we covered a playoff team. We'll see. Kory, we'll talk to you soon, my friend.
All right, see you.
Hey, what's going on there? It's Jeff Iafrate. Appreciate you for finishing the video. You can check out one of the videos here suggested or show support by commenting, liking, and subscribing. And buy your merchandise, VisualCTSports.com.